I have to
let's
hit.
play
I have to
now.
hit go live.
Oh no.
There's like 3 buttons for YouTube.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, and I just realized I need to change something in my backstory. Can't do Talos because I didn't realize he was chaotic evil in 5th edition.
I mean, we can tweak
You
things
can-
however we want.
Manipulate things, you know. I used Fey magic to transport me 50 or 75 to 100 years in the future, and only aged 8 years.
More like guidelines. That said, I think we're all set.
All right. The sun has not yet risen in this mountain valley that you all call home. Hoarfrost whirls cover the shaded stone, and the beasts that thrive in darkness prowl their domains. As biting cold seeps into anyone foolish enough or unlucky enough to be away from their hearth. There are monsters in these woods, in the caves and in the shadows. Some of them come for the same riches that everyone in this valley comes for: metals and weapons, lost knowledge and ancient treasures. Others were simply born with a taste for blood and violence, keen-eyed for prey that grows too bold. There are less of them now, but those that are left are no less dangerous for it. They have been honed by years of hiding and fighting. Nature, red in tooth and claw, lurks at your doorstep. Steeped in magic and with an empty belly, your home is not for the faint of heart or weak of sword arm. The sun is rising over this mountain valley that you call home. As your village grew, the people realized that too many of them had been lost to the wilds, to the snow, the ice, the monsters, and the darkness that lay in this land. So they took it upon themselves to make new traditions, ones that would help future generations and curb the loss of friends and loved ones. Training program was established, originating from the scouts of the Watch. They began calling themselves rangers as they ranged across the valley, some days helping merchants get their carts unstuck, other days putting down a hungry and rabid pack of wolves. And these same grizzled veterans of forest and mountain became teachers and educators. They were gruff and effective teachers, but no less kind for their sternness. Their training comes out of need and in honor of the blood their predecessors have shed. And so, every child of this town was trained. Very few ever become rangers and adventurers themselves. After all, there's more money and comfort in town than out of it. But the yearning for adventure and the thrill of danger always captures the hearts of some every year. And so passes 100 years, from tiny fledgling village to growing and thriving town. And this all brings us back to you. For you see, the sun rises over the mountain valley that you call home. It's a warming spring of a new year. Today, it's merely brisk instead of biting. And to you, that's an ocean of difference. It's been a long and cold winter, like every one you've seen. Today is the day before your trials, to show that you have learned what you must to survive in this land that you were born to. Let's begin with Doug. Doug, can you tell me about what you're doing the morning of your trials? Just so y'all are caught up, the trial is going to be essentially surviving in the woods overnight, just the 4 of you. You've all been training for this for years now. Some of you trained in magic, some of you trained in weapons, and you've all worked together for years. You've all grown up together. But today is the big day. So Doug, when Lothar wakes up, what does the start of his day look like?
Well, he's probably gonna, use some prestidigitation to light his own hearth in whatever humble abode that he occupies. He'll probably start with maybe some light meditation, some light reading, and whatever books he's managed to borrow from Thaddeus. And after a short time, he'll probably make his way down to the library to meet with Master Thaddeus and get any last minute remarks or words of wisdom.
Hell yeah. So you leave the house for the morning, and on your way, you run into Zoo. Am I pronouncing that right?
That is correct. My name is Zoo. How do you do?
Hey, tell me about Zoo's morning. Does he like where does he live?
Yeah.
What's his morning getting to the library look like?
So he lives in like one of the lower levels of the tree houses. He kind of like has a place near there's a hot springs there, right? In the middle of the town. So he wakes up stretching out of his shell. Rolls out of bed and checks out he has like chalk drawings all over him. And he checks the chalk and sees how everything is looking to see how much of it rubbed off. Cleans up the spot where the pictures can't be made out anymore on his shell. And then he kind of polishes it. He then makes his way out of the house and kind of does a morning stroll to see if there's any new carts or anything in town, see if there's any travelers that he may want to talk to later. And then he makes his way over to the berry farms, where he kind of does a morning stroll, looking at the berries, seeing if anything looks out of the ordinary, and just kind of using that as his meditation, just walking through there. And then he goes from the berry farm over to the library just to kind of to hang out and see if Master Thaddeus has anything new, and then also names. Lothar. Yeah.
So the two of you run into each other on the road as you're
okay.
headed up towards the library.
Mhm.
And as you walk, you discuss the day's gossip, the hot talk around town of what merchants are coming through, who what books are being added to the library. And as you approach the library, you kind of come over a rise and see a grandiose patch of bamboo. No minor garden pest is this, but towering hundreds of feet in the air are giant bamboo stalks. Each one is about 20 feet across. And as the library has grown, so too has, the library. It was originally a single shack on a single pole. Now stands dwarfed by giant pillars. Each one decorated slightly differently. Some bearing leaves and branches, others covered in rock, stone, and gem. This library is something of a wonder and has become quite the draw for the town. As you approach the library, you see two people inside the original shack scribbling away. You two, of course, have sat there before. This library is unique in that what is known to this library is available to everyone, but it does not come without a cost. It cannot be given away for free. And that price is for anybody who visits, anybody who wishes to learn from the library must give back. They must give as much knowledge as they can to expand the library before the library will allow them to read. Now you two, having grown up in the village, have long since given back, whether it be research or giving whatever crumbs you can. As children, you two are well versed in the idea of giving to this library that gives back to you so freely. Given the town's predilection towards horticulture and general arboreal pursuits, as well as mining, smithing, and crafting, those are the two biggest towers. One dedicated purely to growing trees, growing herbs, all sorts of things. Anything from keeping a space tidy to calling down thunderstorms, prayers to old gods, things picked up in catacombs long forgotten. Every scrap of knowledge that the library can take in, it will happily accept. So, as you wander through, you see two scholars who have been here for a couple weeks, copying over records from their books, copying their thesis into the library in the hopes that soon they'll be able to go and peruse its many stacks.
Do we recognize these individuals, or are they
This is not quite a house. This is also not quite a training area. It's not quite a chapel. It's an odd amalgam of all three. Frankly, as befits a not a wandering paladin, but a paladin without a significant religious order backing him at the time. It's well maintained, it's well kept, but also very well used and very lived in. And you two sit down across the table as you have 1,000 times before, and drink a mug of ale, toasting to your future success. You know, singing your classical songs of blessing, and just hoping that you can strike as true as lightning does, bring glory to. What was your god's name?
Well, whatever we can come up with that's not chaotic evil. I just chose Talos at the time because it was, god of lightning and storms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the pantheon needs a god of lightning and storms that's not chaotic evil.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, we can get that sorted between sessions.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be now.
Um,
Then I will thank him for the ale and the blessings and tell him that this trial is but the first step in my path, and a small step at that. Afterwards, I will bring glory to our God and righteous vengeance to uh to all wrongdoers.
he kind of chuckles and shakes his head and puts his hand on your shoulder. He's got to reach up a fair ways to do so, and he goes, "Lad, don't be swearing vengeance until you have someone to swear vengeance against. If I learned anything, it's well, there's never too much vengeance in this world, but save it for the right people." Yeah, so you wander back towards the center of town where you're gonna meet up with everybody. And that leaves Athelios.
Okay. Same
What is
thing.
your Yeah, what is your morning like? Your final preparations.
Okay, so unlike the other three of his group, Belios did not grow up in and around the village for a good chunk of his life, only coming back at the age of 15, and having spent the last 2 years with his group, learning the ins and outs of the town, but mostly spending time with himself as he has not yet been fully welcomed as a member of the town, seeing as he's only been here for 2 years and he has no family to speak of. He has found his place outside of the town itself, living alongside the Rangers, although not being fully accepted because he has not completed his trials. He has been learning from the Rangers, befriending them, and spending time amongst the limbs of the trees of the town, where he feels at home, and in the library. So on this specific morning, he wakes up in the outskirts of town and looks out towards the distant hills, and thinks of his Fey friends, and picks and changes back into the form that everybody knows him by, which is he's a smaller guy with a smaller kid with brown hair and green eyes. And so he sets off into town once again to go visit the trees of the town, and just to get his mind set to face whatever trials may come.
All right. As the day wears on, it is not a warm day. Not by any means. It every time the wind blows, you wrap your cloaks around you a little tighter. But again, you grew up here. you notice the cold, but it's something that you've dealt with your entire lives. Athelios, you feel it a little bit more than everybody else. The wind never quite cut the same way back in the Feywild. You guys still hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Solid. I heard a Discord noise. Wasn't quite sure.
Sorry, I clicked into the live stream.
Ah. So yeah, so as you all wander towards the ranger camp, you see Ranger Jordan. Ranger Jordan is an old elf. And frankly, there's not a lot of old elves in the world. Well, not a lot of visibly old elves in the world. This one, however, is pushing 350. He is definitely slowing down. This would be the equivalent of like a 90-year-old person in human years. And despite his age, he still seems surprisingly spry. Although less dexterous and perhaps more wise than he once was. In one word, Jordan is capable. He's seen it all, and most of it he's seen twice. And he's been taking point on training all of you, whether it be in magic and using magic in combat, whether it be with melee weapons, ranged arms, tracking through the woods. Jordan has been a mentor to many of you for many things. And here you see him standing in his very worn and carefully repaired leather armor. You've seen him in it 1,000 times before, and frankly, as long as he's around, you'll see him wear it 1,000 times again. So he greets all of you as you come wandering down the road, and he goes, "So, y'all ready?"
Yeah, as we
sir.
approach him, I'll move my hand very very slightly and cast Mage Hand to pull down the hood of my cloak.
Yeah, I quite like that. The
I show respect to your elders now. Come on.
Oh, I thought this was like a hide your eyes as opposed to like a nod of the cap. Okay,
No. This is me
that makes sense.
pulling the hood down, like away from my head.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, I quite like that. He goes,
He's a
all
witch.
right. Huh?
Oh, I was just joking. He's a witch.
So he nods at you all and goes, all right. I know we've been over this before, but nerves being what they are, I just want to line it out for you all again. First and foremost, are all of you ready to spend your night in the wilderness? Is there any last minute supplies you need?
I guess I'm ready. No, I don't need any supplies.
How closely do you want to keep track of things like supplies? I'm just asking this because some people are very like particular, like you have to go and buy X number of rations and things like that.
When it comes to longer trips, we'll talk about rations and expense. But don't bother tracking like arrows and such. Honestly, that's not very fun.
Right.
I would ask that, at a certain point, once you've fired, say 20 to 50 arrows, just chime in with an extra gold when we're doing stuff in the shops every now and again. But nothing too crazy.
Yep.
If there's anything in particular that you want that would be outside the norm in terms of like, you essentially have the explorer's pack from your initial character options. Bedroll, maybe a rain cover,
Yeah.
down cloth, a couple days rations, fire starter, basic first aid kit, all your combat equipment and armor. 50 feet of rope. And he kind of looks around and nods and goes, "You know, when I met you kids, I wasn't sure. I mean, every year it seems like you you greenies get newer and newer, but you've all really surprised me. You've really stepped up, and well, you have nothing but my highest confidence you can manage to pull through this just fine. Just in case, though." And he pulls out 4 small vials filled with red liquid and hands one to each of you. And he nods and goes, "These aren't the most powerful health potions, but they should keep you alive in a scrap. So those health potions will do 1d4 plus 1 healing, and you each have 1.
Ooh.
He so he kind of looks at y'all and goes, "All right, let's cover the mission one more time, and we'll let y'all get going. As you all know, we have hidden a we'll call it a MacGuffin out in the woods. Something for you to find. In this case, it's going to be a sword. Nothing fancy, but at least a little bit shiny for you to find. And he hands you a map with 4 locations marked off in the woods. And all of you have grown up around this town, so you know that there's a very strong culture of not opening the gates after dark. That once the gates are shut, they will open again at first light. The guards will help you if they can. However, at the end of the day, there's just too many monsters to keep the gates opening and closing all night. There's just too much risk. And you also know that this is going to be a significant hike. As you look at the map and see the different points listed out on there, you can tell that this is something where even if you get out there in good time, it'll still be nightfall by the time you turn around to come back. So really the only way to do this is to spend a night in the woods after you've found whatever they have you looking for.
I have a quick question for the
Mhm.
the person sending this out. Is there any way, like, what happens if we run into danger? Is there like a signal flare or anything?
He goes, "The sword at your side is enough of a signal flare, don't you think?"
Maybe, but it sounds, lots happens out there.
Mm-hmm. Sure does. This is a passage to adulthood, young man. If you're not ready to be an adult, you wait till next year.
Sounds like if we're not ready to be adult, we die.
Well, I mean that is true, but what is life but facing down death?
My character Athelios slaps Zoo on the back or on his shell and says, come on, Zoo. We've been doing this for 2 years. You don't think we're ready yet?"
You can never be too cautious.
Don't worry, we have each other.
And for what it's worth, this is something that you've known about for years. This is something that you've seen pretty much every like older kid growing up go through. And especially for Athelios, this is kind of the bread and butter. This is the day in, day out of a pace of life. Just like, high school graduations are a big thing in a small town. This village is very enthusiastic about making sure its young people are well trained.
Can I make a history check to see if I can determine the failure rate of these exercises?
Yes, but I'm gonna say you need to make both a history and insight check.
Okay.
Can I collaborate with him a little bit, like help him out and be like, oh, remember that one guy that we heard about last year?
I have a 19 on history.
Nice.
And you said insight, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And a dirty 20 on
Hey.
insight.
real quick, to answer the question of can you help? Yes, with the help action. So that means you have to have proficiency in the skill that's being checked in order to
Is that how it
help.
works?
Okay.
Yeah, and then the person making the check gets to roll with advantage.
Okay. Yeah. Insight. It would have just been an insight, but it sounds like he did fine on his own. You know.
Yeah. So thinking back to the several years prior, it's been 3 or 4 years since someone was mauled to death by a monster from town. You hear about a merchant or two every year that gets taken by bandits or killed on the road, but that's usually significantly farther down the road.
And they're not trained like we are.
Yeah, their guards might be, but frankly, this level of training, this level of intensity, the intensity of this region, puts you a cut above average. Where any one of you could go toe to toe with your average soldier, your average gladiator, your average combatant, as it stands right now. If you don't use those skills, you'll lose them. But, and frankly, many people in town have. More to your question, though, Doug, thinking back on previous years, you distinctly remember several people coming back very, very injured. We're talking like compound fracture of the femur. Yeah. Significant wounds, partial evisceration. One kid lost an eye. And granted, this is all over the last like 20 years, but these are all things that you can also very vividly remember. That said, as far as you're aware, there's only ever been 1 or 2 fatalities from this process. So it's not like they're sending kids out to die. But
Right.
that is not to belie the real danger.
I'll clasp Zoo on the shell shoulder. I'll say I wouldn't worry about it, Zoo. There've only been a handful of casualties from this exercise. What you really got to worry about is the maulings that might occur.
Well.
And I'll
Right.
flash him kind of a a morbid grin.
All right. Well.
And I say, I say, Lothar, don't do that to a man.
Can I prestidigitation the I fear nothing onto his shell and chalk?
Yeah, make a well, I guess first and foremost, would Zoo want to oppose that or notice it?
No, it's fine. My shell is available for chalking.
Tell the stories of our people in chalk.
That's what it is.
I imagine our backstory, right? Like I have done this before. Like this is not a threatening thing.
No, so my shell, just so people are aware, like it is. I carry 100 sticks of chalk. It's very light stuff of different colors, so people can just draw on it and tell stories and communicate. So, but yeah, no, that's fine if he draws on my shell.
Heck yeah.
Draw a little meme of hanging in there turtle.
Yeah, a kitten with a turtle shell hanging onto a branch.
Yeah.
Appears.
You do know that
DM.
you do know that I can't reach the back part of my shell to clean it off.
It disappears after an hour. It's fine.
Question for the DM. Is this exercise, is this all individual, or will we be working as a team to complete our trials?
You will be working as a team.
Okay.
Now, despite the danger, you do also remember the feasts, the gifts, the raucous celebration. This is one of the big events for the year. Not only because it's a joyful moment of kids coming of age and really proving themselves, but it's also a moment where they've overcome the danger. They've shown that not only, did the parents raise the kids, they raised resilient enough kids that they can survive in a very harsh environment.
Mhm.
So even though there's trepidation, there's deep dark woods that are a very real threat, there is also accolades at the end of this. There will be feasting for a week. There will be gifts and hugs and plenty of ale, which for a group of young adults is never an unwarranted thing.
It's like a less horrible Sparta.
Yeah, exactly. um yeah. So Jordan pulls a map from his cloak and holds it out to the group.
Well, knowing my intelligence and knowing the others' intelligence, I'm gonna recommend that either Lothar or Zoo take that.
I'll be the map holder.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Excellent.
It's best to know your limits.
I'm gonna mage hand grab the map though.
Perfect.
Just snatch it. Zoo goes to take it, and Lothar just
Character's
goes,
gonna
nope.
his character's just gonna end up with 2 strong arms. Not ever doing anything with his arms, just mage hand.
So yeah, y'all see the map kind of gently float over towards Lothar. And as you open it, you see 4 X's. And like I said before, none of these places are particularly close. And especially the fact that there's a 1 in 4 chance that the sword that you're looking for is at any one of those places. You recognize them all as groves, like they're places that you've hiked and done day trips to in the past, often on horseback. And these lands are not unfamiliar to you all. You've functionally been, understudy rangers for several years now. That said, this is one of the first times you've actually had to do it wholly unsupervised. So the big question that I have is, who would like to make a survival check?
I wouldn't like to, but
I'll make the I'll do the survival check.
And
Man.
I have
just
a
to be
fighter.
clear, this is less about surviving and more about like pathfinding through the woods.
Okay, I'll do a survival check.
I would like to bardically inspire him just right off the bat. I just feel like this is super important.
It's a pretty big one.
That he, I'm just like there, like, okay, you got this. I'm like rubbing his shoulders, like, you got this. So just lead us through correctly. So where is it? Just kind of thing. Okay. So you are going to get a additional D6 that you can use, that you can roll in addition, like to
So
really buff it up.
A D20 and a D6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does anyone have the guidance spell?
No. I don't know if guidance is even a spell I have access to.
You do.
All I'm imagining right now is Zoo singing out, brave, brave Athelios, he bravely passed away.
You do get your modifiers added too, as well, Athelios.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool though. 1d6, he said.
So yeah, that's what it says. It's pretty good.
I think you can also use it for attack rolls.
It can be added after seeing the roll, but before knowing the outcome. So you can roll, and if you roll high, you can decide that, hey, I don't really need this, but it only lasts 10 minutes, but I'm expending it. One of them. I get...
So I rolled, and I got 16 total. So not great.
Is that 16 plus your modifiers and everything?
14 plus 2 from the D6. And then how do I...
So on D&D Beyond, your skill section.
Skills?
Yeah, survival will be at the bottom of the list. Do you have any pluses next to that?
plus 3, so we're at a 19.
And then are you proficient in survival?
Yes, I have a proficiency in survival.
So that should be another plus
Well,
2.
it's already factored in.
I think it's
on the
factored
attack.
in because you don't get the proficiency.
Yeah, you take your wisdom and add your proficiency
Oh,
bonus. So
gotcha,
proficiency
gotcha.
is 2, wisdom's 1, total of 3.
Yeah, got you.
Awesome. Yeah. So
he rolled 19.
Yeah,
perfect.
19.
So you four strike out into the woods. These are paths that you've traveled before, but like I said, it's been a long time since you've ranged out this far. Despite that, you make really good time. It's not quite as fast as the senior rangers could do, but frankly, Jordan is an old man now, and even though he's a hell of a hand in a fight, he's still getting up there in years. And being able to hike without him for the first time in several months, you feel the miles just fly under your feet. For Athelios, as you are going through the woods, as you examine the map and try and figure out where you are based on various landmarks with a compass, etc. It's what would normally be a slightly not difficult, but a slightly challenging task as you're trying to see through the trees. It's like drinking a big cup of coffee when you're real tired. Everything feels just a little easier as you feel the bardic magic ease the stress of putting ideas together, ease the amount of effort it takes to connect ideas. And so you all find yourselves fairly quickly arriving at I guess the big question is which of these X's are you headed towards first?
I would say the closest one.
I would say almost the furthest one.
Head back.
Because here's my thought: is we're gonna have to set up like a camp or a shelter of some kind, and we want to do that while it's still daytime, right?
So if we can, are we able to make it to X4 in that time?
Yeah. So what I can tell you is, and y'all can see my cursor, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
So between X1 and town, this is about a 3-hour trek. It's about 1 in the afternoon right now. So getting out to here, you'd be looking at another 6 hours of travel on top of that. So you'd be looking at arriving at about 10 o'clock at night.
Okay, and it's winter, so it'll already be dark.
And more like early April. So there's still snow on the ground, but yeah, definitely still dark.
So it sounds like we could probably hit. Well, actually, we could probably hit 1, 2, and 3 in pretty quick succession then. Because if it's 3 hours from town to 1, I imagine it's like 2 hours to each of these other ones.
Well, you have to factor in. We need to search the areas and find. We're looking for this sword, right?
Yeah.
As a trophy, so that's going to take some time. So I guess we should probably hit like 1 and then 2 and see where we're at by then.
I like it.
Off of probability, I would say we hit 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, because that's 3/4 chance that we're gonna find the sword right there. So yeah, 4 can wait.
We'll start with 1, Jake. Final answer. We're locking it in.
Starting it with 1.
Perfect. So your trip to this first location goes pretty smoothly. You find your way there quickly. You make it in reasonable time. What would normally be about, a 3-hour trip, you make it about 2.5 hours, and you're a little bit tired when you get there, but it's nothing you haven't experienced before. Along the way, you definitely saw signs of several bears, several wolves in the area, as well as Some less common signs. You know that goblins have been in the area for decades, if not centuries. And while they're not common, they're also certainly not uncommon. But as you travel, you really don't run into any trouble. So as you arrive to the glade, what would you like to do? And the glade itself, you see it opens up. It's just a large patch of grass, a small stream running through it. It's a common resting spot for the rangers, especially when they're out at night. Just because it's better visibility, clean water.
I think doing since it's clean water and everything, do a quick check for anything out of the ordinary. Is there's anything else nearby, good or bad, or anyone else, I should say.
Yeah, I think
Poorly.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, use my perception to check the area as well.
Solid. Can I get? Sorry, I've got too many ding dang screens up. Can I get perception checks from everybody?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 9 for Thas.
Hey.
17 for me.
15 for me. Zoo, 15.
Hold on 1 second. Reroll. Ooh, got a let's see. Plus my +3 is I got 8.
All right. So, Aphelios, you are the first one into the glade. And as you look around across the glade, near where the river kind of comes into the clearing, you notice a tree branch moving.
I call out to the others, Zoo, Lothar, and Thas, and point towards the tree branch to get their attention in that direction.
My perception roll being so bad, I'm gonna question whether that's just one of these guys' mage hand all over again.
With a 17, am I able to glean more information out than a moving tree branch, or is it still just a branch?
Sure are. As you look over, you notice that a squirrel jumped from one branch to the other and caused it to knock all over the place. That the squirrel managed to scamper around the tree.
I'll walk past Athelios as he points it out, and I'll kind of clap him on the shoulder, like, "Calm your nerves, friend. It's just the wildlife." and I'll kind of like nod toward the squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah, as you all make your way into the glade, chuckling amongst yourselves and trying to shake the last of the nerves as you're out on your big grand adventure, you presumably search the glade. And as you search, especially with a whole bunch of perception checks above 15, you notice that there are several boot prints through here, though they are slightly hidden. And while there's several groups that could have made those kind of boot prints, you all put your heads together and suspect that there were rangers here.
Maybe they stashed that sword here.
Are we able to tell how long ago these prints were left?
Less than a day.
Okay. Well, it could be here. This could also just be a setup. can we see do the footprints look like they're purposeful, or are they just walking through the glade, or
He said that they were hidden or
Mhm.
slightly hidden.
oh, like purposefully hidden?
Yeah, like someone was rather than walking through the tall grass, they were trying to go like rock to rock or like
Mm.
gravel, where it was gravelly or just dirt as opposed to twigs that can break and grass that can bend. Not super purposefully, but almost as if it was an unconscious habit. Where they left little scrapes here and there that you can pick up, but surprisingly few for being very clear that multiple people came through here.
Well, Athelios, you're the most ranger amongst us. What do you say?
I would say that this they would have done a better job hiding their tracks if they had hidden the sword here. This seems like they were just traveling through the area and were trying to throw basic beasts and bandits off their tracks.
Well, it would at least be a starting point to investigate the glade.
Yeah, I mean, let's. I would say let's follow the tracks and see where they lead.
All right. So if you're gonna follow the tracks, I'll need a survival check from somebody for the group, and if you're gonna investigate the glade, I'll need an investigation check from somebody. But you will need to pick one of those things to do as a group.
I would vote for an investigate.
You want to do the investigate?
I definitely could.
I can help also investigate. I'd like to do the help action to also just kind of poke around, maybe lift a rock or something. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
And then, can I momentarily split the group?
I'm gonna say no for the time being.
No, for the time being. Okay.
Yeah, just because it's our first session, want to get everybody comfortable with it. It's a lot easier for me as well.
Split the
I don't have
party.
multiple groups to juggle.
So the help action gives me advantage, is what you said?
Mhm.
Okay. The first roll was a 25.
Whew.
Yeah, 25 it is.
So you all take another 20 minutes or so and really look around this glade. You don't turn over every rock, but every nook and cranny that you can think of, short of burying it a sword and magically covering it, or like otherwise absurdly hiding it, has been ruled out. You are quite confident that there is no sword in this glade, unless they were super mean about how they hid it.
Then I think we can move on to the other locations.
Yeah.
And if we need to reinvestigate, we can hit it on the way back.
Now, only other detail that comes to light during this investigation is you become more and more convinced that there were rangers in this glade at one point.
But I mean, is that really like, is that noteworthy to us? Like, I would expect rangers to be patrolling around in general, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's and this is exactly how you would expect them to be patrolling around, trying to not leave a trace as much as possible. But just wanted to make sure y'all knew it was the Rangers and not.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
god, and not
Yeah.
like, oh, these seem like suspicious claws.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah. So, what's the next plan or next step?
Well, at what point of the day is it?
It's gonna be about 4:30 in the afternoon. You've got about an hour of sunlight left.
Well, if we only have about an hour of sunlight, I would say we should set up camp here.
Is there like a requirement, like a timeline of when we have to return the sword?
Nope.
Okay.
However, most groups that you're aware of only or came back the next day, even if it was late. You're aware of a few that stayed out 2 days, or even a rumor that there was one that stayed out 3 days. But those are extremely rare.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, if that's the case,
I vote for pushing to spot number 3. Even if we do have to travel in the dark, we can. I think a basic kit includes a torch, right?
Mhm.
So we can light our torches and head to Mark 3 or Mark 2, using the fire to illuminate our way and keep any unwanted beasts away from us.
Not everything out here is afraid of fire.
True, but
you know,
the boar and yeah. Go ahead.
Lothar and I can also.
That didn't quite make it through to my side.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
cut
dude.
out.
I was saying Lothar and I both have dark vision, so we can always hold your hand if you need it.
I mean, I don't need the torch. I'm I'm a changeling.
I'm just giving you shit.
All right.
Well, can we make it to 2 or 3 before nightfall or no?
You'd have to really not without magical assistance of some kind.
Use your mage hand to push us along. I'm just kidding.
I'm thinking more long
Yeah.
strider magic steed. Yeah.
I understand.
Well, I'll leave it up to the group, but it seems wise to build up a fortified position while we still have light.
I tend to agree, but well, I don't know. I kind of want to just get this over with, you know. Just want to go to X3, and maybe we'll be good there. Otherwise, we just have to wait all day, and we start up in the morning again. But I really think we could make it to X3, and we'll be fine.
So that's 2 for go.
I
Go go.
I don't have an opinion either way at this point.
So we go.
Well, let me
Looks like
persuade
we're
you.
going.
No, I'm just kidding.
Looks like we're going. All right, Athelios, 2 or 3. And I'll roll out the map with the mage hand again.
2 or 3.
Mhm.
What do you mean?
The X2
spots.
or X3.
We're gonna go 2.
All right. The mage hand will roll the map back up and place it in my satchel.
Okay, and do we need to roll our survival again, or
Sure do.
hey, here we go. Let me switch back. I need to just.
I'm not assisting this one because I'm actually a little bit worried of the dark.
Okay.
But I'm still here.
No.
Have you got this?
7. A 7.
You got
Wait.
this.
Plus my survival stat, which is +3, so we got 10. So, nah.
Yeah, it's gonna be nighttime.
I would also like so yes, you do make it to the glade. I need one of you to make since you made the survival check, I'll have you make the perception check as well. Would you make a perception check with disadvantage for me?
Disadvantage does what again?
Yeah, roll 2 and take the lower.
Yeah.
Roll 2 and take the lower. Okay, we're gonna. Oh. 2 plus 3 is 5.
All right. As you go, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
I bet.
Everything is peaceful.
You actually notice nothing.
My other one was an 18.
Uh-oh.
and we're just all trusting him, right? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah,
Like,
he's
no
the
one-
most ranger amongst us.
By the way, just so you are aware, DM, I changed my fighting style from two-hand to interception, being that I have a shield and a sword.
Sweet. Sounds good to me. As a side note, there's like a sword and board fighting style that I think gives you +1 AC.
Mm-hmm. It's real
Um,
good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, didn't really get a good chance. I just noticed that interception was like a good one because I can heal myself as a bonus action. But with interception, it says when a creature you can see hits a target other than you within 5 feet of you with an attack, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage the target takes by 1d10 plus 2 to a minimum of 0. So I figured that would be really good if we were fighting in a tight group. Especially if I'm going to be fighting next to Zoo.
Yeah, shield your fellows.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, and just for everybody, if there's any changes you want to make, I know especially first few sessions, still kind of settling into what you want your character to be. So if there's any adjustments you need to make, go crazy. Just keep me in the loop on what's going on. And with that, you may notice we're looking at a different map now. So you all have walked through the night. It's now about 8:30 at night. And you have just made it to the I'm not going to call it a clearing because it's definitely not a clearing. But it's more of a landmark. This pillar right here is about 30 feet tall. And no one's quite sure what geological shenanigans happened to make it that tall of a pillar. But especially in the woods, it's a very nice touchstone that you can see from quite a ways away. And as such, camping at its base has become not quite a tradition, but similar to the glade, just a helpful place that nearly everyone can find. And as such, there's a very well-worn fire pit when you get there. I put in extra sleeping bags because I wasn't 100% sure how many folks you were going to have. So ignore those extra sleeping bags. But yeah, so y'all arrive at X2. You build a little campfire, put your sleeping bags down for the night. What does camp preparation look like for everybody?
Well, I don't believe we have a tent with our explorer pack, but roll out the bedrolls, get a fire going, and then eat and try and pull, separate out our watch cycles.
Mhm,
All right.
mhm.
So big question, who's cooking?
Oh, does anybody?
What would the
I think it's survival, isn't it?
survival? I'll cook with my knowledge of the forest, and I could supplement the meal with um, some herbs and berries that I have found along the um, outskirts of our camp.
Yeah. Make a survival check for me.
Okay.
Could I make a nature roll to see if I can determine anything about this 30-foot formation?
Sure. But let's do these one at a time.
I already rolled 22.
So okay, we'll go with his first.
All right. This is something that you first noticed as a child. Not that a child wanders around outside of the gates of town very often, but you live in very tall houses. And every once in a while, as you looked out over the forest from some of the taller buildings in town, you would see this just peeking above the trees out in the middle of the wilderness. So this is and as you've gotten your ranger training, you've been here before. And this is something you've kind of thought about for several years in the back of your head. Make an Arcana check for me.
Okie doke. 12.
So you are one of the better trained magic users in the area. Short of Master Thaddeus, some of the pilgrims that come through the library, some of the wizards that work in the berry farms. Outside of those, frankly, prestigious institutions, you're one of the more magically inclined. And what you can tell is that this, at one point, was used in a significant magical event. However, that was thousands of years ago. It has been not only a long while, but whatever happened was extremely powerful. There are what you're seeing here is more residuals. Think radiation as opposed to nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
But also well down its half-life, to extend the metaphor. So you know that something bonkers happened to cause this. This is more like the rock itself was calcified and hardened, and the rest of the stone wore away around it. As to what kind of magical working would cause something like that, you have no idea.
All right. Yeah, as Athelios is foraging and preparing food, I'm kind of like over here, kind of, walking her back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah. Taking
so
notes, poking around.
Well, I figure I have to like go and actually like be near it. I can't.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like...
The like, oh, look over there. Is that an artifact of some kind?
Yeah.
Yeah. An artifact is probably too strong a word. This is like finding a that one gate that was left standing at Nagasaki?
Mm.
This is that but rock.
Yeah.
One. Let's see here. And Kai, were you the one?
yes, I was doing the survival check. I get
Right.
rolled a 13 plus 3 from my survival trait, so 16 for survival.
Awesome. The last few years have been a lot of adjustment for you. And you've found solace in these woods. Though you're lonely, though you've lost a lot of people that you used to know, you've also found new community with this group of people who are roughly your age, with this town that, while they haven't completely welcomed you in, they have kept you fed and sheltered and trained you up. And a big part of that has been foraging in the woods. It's been zipping around out here with the rangers. And so for you, foraging out here is relatively old hat. It's something you've done on hundreds of nights before. It's frankly something you'll do on hundreds of nights again if you continue in this area and in this life. Which, as a changeling, is always up in the air just a little bit. But the gathering goes quickly. You gather 11 herbs and spices and manage to
We're making some KFC.
It was a long lead up for a short joke, but I'm pretty happy with it.
Let's unlock some D4 skins, baby.
But yeah, you gather. I mean, everything that you can see. Not only in a reasonably large area. I mean, we're talking. Where's the laser pointer? We're talking, well around the this kind of cliffside. But you also use it very well. This is something where you've been cooking rations augmented with these spices for years now.
Okay. As I come back into the as I come back to cook, I stop at the edge of the clearing, as if startled, and turn around and look back into the forest. Although clearly there is nothing there. And after a couple seconds, I shake my head, turn back
Make
around,
a-
and
Make a
walk
perception
into...
check for me.
Okay. I got 10.
All right. Yeah, you thought you heard something, but
I was
when you looked.
playing off of the Fey laughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's and frankly, hearing something off in the distance, maybe a slight laugh, half a chuckle, someone banging into a tree or a stick, not super uncommon for you, especially after coming back. Zoo, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just staying by the fire. I'm not very helpful at night. I cannot see either. However, I'm just, pulling out my little viol and starting to just pluck away at it a little bit as I watch people do things.
Hell
In
yeah.
that case,
Yeah.
I'll get the fire going, and I'll get a stockpile of it.
Yeah.
Of wood.
Oh, not a nod in appreciation, and continue to do my thing. Everything seems to be getting held down by everyone else. So, I'm just here.
What kind of music are you playing? Something sad, something upbeat?
Something I'm just plucking away to see if there's like no actual song that I'm playing. I'm just playing notes and experimenting with the different tunes. It's kind of like a nervous kind of thing.
Playing Toxicity.
Like nothing too extreme, just kind of oh, sorry guys. So yeah, nothing. Yeah.
Can I stream sound on here?
Yes, but
I think there's a separate setup. Disregard.
Russell's streaming into YouTube, so like it can't be copyrighted, I think.
You can play whatever you want, I think, because he's not monetizing it.
Well, I'll figure that out for next session.
Yeah.
I was thinking a little bit of light classic guitar might be a nice.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Some
Move to the background.
Little classical gas.
Yeah.
some whimsical guitar.
Yeah, I feel like I would be more of a hindrance because I'm not good at cooking. I'm not good at anything in the dark. So I do what I'm good at, which is just plucking away at this instrument and just kind of watching the fire. Because I realize my limits, and there's really nothing here that, like, I look out and I just see pitch black. So I don't know what else I'm doing. I'm just nervous sitting there, nervous turtle sitting next to the fire in the dark, out of his element.
How big of a fire are y'all gonna have? Like a little, like 1 cubic foot, kind of bare minimum fire to boil water, roast meat. Are you gonna build a bigger one? I will tell you, it's going to get below freezing tonight. It is going to be windy. It's not going to be a fun night outdoors.
Gonna make a bigger fire.
Bigger's good. Bigger's better.
Yeah.
Bonfire.
Say like a 5 cubic feet in the shape of a cross.
Apparently, we're lighting a Thelios on fire. I don't know who moved him into the fire
Well,
pit.
I'm cooking. I
would-
moved myself over the fire. I could put myself there.
I would like to caution. Like as I begin to see that they're making a bigger fire, like I'll try to help where I can, but I'm like, hey, let's make this a reasonably large fire. Like, let's not set anything on fire. Like a safely large fire. Let's not go overboard here.
5 cubic feet. Like, it's nothing.
Heaping helping a coals.
Yeah.
Gonna get cold.
Is there anything that anybody else wants to do before we talk about watches and such?
Nope. I make my way back over to the camp too.
Nope, just getting that stockpile of wood so nobody has to go back out.
Good call.
I am holding a war gong, so I'd like to set that up as well next to me.
War gong.
Frick yeah, dude.
Just in case, you never know.
Just a random war gong. Okay.
What?
Okay.
You calling people to dinner?
Play it. I just set it up, right? Or it's not so. It's just like out of my. It's not like stashed. I just want to make sure that that's clear. That's like next to me, just in case. A viol's not going to cut it for waking people up.
The screams won't do it.
Yeah, no screams, no hollering, just gong. So as y'all have your dinner, sit around the campfire, kind of huddle in for warmth, just given how cold it is out here in the mountains. What is the hot gossip around town that y'all are talking about? And feel free to make up characters or riff, however you like.
I'll say this not too quietly, but mostly toward Zoo, I guess. Did you hear that Millhouse character was poking around the library last week?
Yeah, he's. Do you know? Was he looking for anything in particular? That's a weird fella. He's been around a long time.
He was up in the upper levels for a long time. I tried to see if I could find anything out, but he's quick. He's quick for an older guy. I'll say that much.
He's been around a while since the beginning, right? He's old. Oldish.
Yeah.
That would make him about 100 years old.
What is it? Sorry, what is
more than 100?
What is his race?
He's a gnome.
No.
Mm-hmm. And can I have Zoo make a history check?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I can help him.
yeah. Okay,
I'm proficient. I'm proficient in that.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
20. Unclean.
Yeah.
You may as well see if you get a nat 20, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the first one I'm not going to reveal. It was the 20 is the good one.
Oh, okay. Got it. Understood.
Zoo, you came across something really interesting when it comes to Millhouse. You actually found a wanted poster buried deep in some archive records you were helping clean up.
So just to take note of the wanted poster, and I'm not. I'd just like to know: was there a bounty or anything? Like, does it seem like?
Yeah, it was like 100 years ago, but it was also like 500 gold pieces.
And is there any kind of like inflation happening? Is 500 a lot?
Is it now 2 million?
There is no inflation happening. The 500 is quite a bit. So just for monetary context for y'all, your average commoner will earn 1 to 2 copper per day of work, and most tend towards 1 copper a day, and then it's 10 copper to a silver and 10 silver to a gold. So 500 gold would be a life-changing sum of money for most people.
I will actually reveal this to Lothar in case he did not know. I'll be like, yeah, I mean, it's weird. Did you know that he was wanted back in the day? I don't really know what for, unless it was on the bounty poster, but he had a pretty good chunk of change wanted or offered for his return. Not sure really know why. Haven't really gotten to talk to the guy.
Should I roll history to see if I know about that or not?
I'm gonna say no, just because you helped.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of reveal that, just kind of like a little gossip around the fire.
I'm going to ask, so that there was nothing said about what he had done to earn that bounty?
Was that on the sheet?
Narrow my eyes suspiciously.
Was there anything on the wanted poster?
No, it's I mean, it looked like an official wanted poster as far as you're aware. Not that you see a ton of wanted posters day in, day out. Though it was odd that there wasn't anything mentioned, because it usually says, robbery, murder, extortion, what have you. And in this case, it looked very normal aside from the fact that the crimes weren't mentioned.
Yes, however you feel. This crimes weren't mentioned on the sheet. I didn't want to bring up any ill will to Millhouse. Who knows? Like, it didn't say like what he did, and he seemed to keep pretty much to himself while we're here. But yeah, it wasn't on the sheet. I had meant to mention it to Master Thaddeus, but it just kind of like, it was just an intriguing piece of history.
Millhouse is eccentric, but a criminal doesn't.
Yeah, he just spends, I think, most of his days in the library. But him poking around, it was interesting that he was poking around in the top upper levels. But he's been around a long time. Like I said, from when that the bamboo was but a shoot.
Which shoot did you see him in? Like, which topic?
Which topic? I'll say evocation. Is that what you're looking for? Like spell? Mm-hmm. Okay,
yeah. It could also be something like, history, horticulture, druidcraft.
Okay. So not spell school necessarily, just topic in general.
Yeah.
In that case, let's go maybe like history of Arcana, like old Arcana topics.
I'm going to I may need to do a history check here, but I remember the name Millhouse from when I was a kid, 150 years ago. And I will bring that because everyone knows that I'm a changeling. At least in our group, I have revealed the secret and entrusted it to them that I'm a changeling and was one of the original kids who had been lost / presumed dead. And I remember the name Millhouse, and that we had sheltered him or had taken him in as a magical creature / species.
Yeah, and in this case, you don't know what the adults were thinking at the time. Like, it was way above your 8-year-old pay grade. So you definitely know that the town sheltered him and intentionally did so, but aren't sure what the justification was there.
Okay, so I will mention that. The town intentionally sheltered him. So, yeah, I'll just mention that.
Let's see here. For for Thas, is there anything that's a hot topic around town? Or anything interesting about Millhouse that you'd like to add?
Only that I've not really seen him because I don't walk around in those types of circles, in the cause of, that being arcana rather than divine.
Mm-hmm.
But it is concerning that Millhouse has or had a bounty. Um, I wonder if there's still, if since it's so long ago, if the place still exists or if the bounty still stands. I wonder if there's a way to find out.
It would require a fair bit of travel. Um,
Outside our pay
there's.
grade.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily. If you wanted to become bounty hunters as adults, that is entirely within your skill set. As far as pay grade goes, yeah, you'd have to work your way up there.
I would say, in response to his speculation of whether or not we should, figure out the bounty situation, I would say that my character tells Thas that he hasn't hurt anybody in the 150 years he's been here, and our forefathers decided to shelter him, so we shouldn't go poking around something that that old.
I wasn't saying that we should try and collect the bounty.
Just wanted to make sure it was still there before we.
Before we decided to become bounty hunters.
Hey,
And let's see here. Solid. Is there anything y'all want to do before you crash for the night?
draw watch.
All right. So who's going first? And how many shifts would you like to have?
So I'll be honest, I would kind of like to go. Is it dark? It's dark right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'd prefer to take last watch when the sun's just coming up, so at least I can be a little bit useful,
I will take first. Yeah, I will take first.
Excellent.
Then I'll take second or third. Doesn't really matter.
I'll put you second, and that leaves Lothar third.
Hell yeah.
All right. And just because I've wanted to shake up Watch a little bit, I'm gonna have each of you make 2 different checks. The first one is going to be a Constitution check, and that's essentially going to be to see can you stay awake through your shift. It's not going to be crazy high, but I just like that extra bit of complication. So to that end,
Dang it. Oh, I fell asleep.
Not super high. Rolls a 2.
I sat on 20 for like half a second and then ticked over. I was like, no.
So
a total of 4 with my Constitution.
Word. Okay, so you don't fall asleep outright, but you are extremely drowsy after everybody else goes to bed.
Hold on. Do I go based off of not the saving throw, but the top row of like Constitution +2?
Yeah.
Because the saving throw is a Constitution +4.
Yeah, so saving throw is going to be different. That's essentially going to be like dexterity is if you're trying to jump out of the way of a fireball.
Okay.
Or wisdom is if you're trying to knock it like a mental whammy. Whereas checks are you're proactively trying to do something instead of trying to resist something.
Okay. Man, I can't wait until I have to use acrobatics. I have a +5 bonus to acrobatics.
And in this case, yeah, you'll want to use that skill check. So I'm gonna say that you don't fall asleep outright, But you are extremely drowsy. Like you are right on the cusp of falling asleep. Eyes heavy, not doing a great job of keeping watch. Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. Reroll. Oh my god.
I
6.
really hope it's just the squirrel again.
It's 6. I am getting the worst luck in the world. A 2 and then a 3. And my character is gonna die before we even get. I'm gonna be dead.
At this rate, we're all gonna be dead.
No, because
You-
Russell just come back into a shell.
So you are sitting up for the next couple hours. The conversation kind of died away after all the hot gossip about Millhouse was talked about. And so, people turned in and you stoked the fire and were sitting on a log and kind of just barely hanging on to consciousness. Kept almost dozing off. And you'd set your rapier down next to you, just so it was ready at hand in case anything came up that you needed it. As you look at the stars, you see about what time it is. You realize it's time for Thas to take over. You go to stand up and out of pure habit reach down for your rapier, which you knew was there an hour ago when you set it down. But it's not where you left it, and you can't see it anywhere.
Oh no. Who's next? Who's next to watch?
Thas.
That's okay. So, in a panic, because I'm now panicking because I don't have my weapon, I'm going to wake Thas and ask him to help me look for it because he has dark vision.
Alrighty. What do you mean your rapier's gone?
It's not where I left it.
Where did you leave it?
Right next to me. Admittedly, I am very, very, very tired, and I have wished to go to sleep.
I'm gonna take a quick look around for it.
All right. Yeah. Make a investigation check to look around for the rapier.
13.
Yeah. I mean, you look around camp. You have dark vision, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's even with just a low fire, the night leaps to life before your eyes. It's not nearly as bright as daylight, but you can still see really well. And it's like looking around a living room for a vacuum cleaner. You know it when you see it. You definitely don't see his sword anywhere around camp.
Then immediately wake the others.
All right.
Oh, what's going on? Is my watch alright?
Oh my gosh, it's dark
No.
out.
What?
Thelius either misplaced or had his rapier stolen.
My head is in my hands.
I will feel for my weapon if it is still present. I have a longsword.
It is not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit.
What about my
Check-
instruments? I
check
check
my
all my
own gear.
instruments.
Your violin is. Does your viola?
Yeah, viol. Yeah.
Viol. Does it have a case?
It has a leather case. Of
Okay,
sorts.
solid. What
And
about your gong?
The gong is just out, or was out.
Okay, and what material is that made of?
Oh, that's definitely metal.
Solid. Your viol is where you left it, but surprisingly, your gong is also gone.
Would you say it's gong?
I would. Now, the stand you left it on is still there. The
Oh,
gong itself was simply removed from the frame.
Well,
Just
the
lifted off the.
The stand was kind of from sticks. I just kind of leaned it. The other thing I have is a pan flute. That's kind of like a hollow wood kind of thing.
Yep, that one's still there.
Cool. Well, I'm good, guys. My sword's gone, but
I'm going to ask if out of my backpack, my hand axes have been taken.
No, they were not.
Okay, so I'm going to pull a hand axe to replace my lost rapier out of my backpack so that I have both my shield and my rapier. Or my shield and my axe, my hand axe.
Can I make an investigation check around the camp?
Sure thing.
And while that's happening, is
18.
anything missing from Fass's gear set?
Why, yes. Yes, there is. Well, I guess the big question is, was your glaive was out, like, sitting next to you?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. That is also gone.
Then I'm going to pull my longsword from my pack if it's still there.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Does an 18 get me any information?
Yeah. The bigger objects seem to have footsteps leading off into the night. Especially the gong. They're very small footsteps and ever so slight drag marks. As if several small creatures dragged it off into the night.
I will point out these tracks, looking directly at Athelios the whole time. It seems as though we've been robbed right under our noses. Behold, track
Okay.
mark.
Are goblins small in nature?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're about 3 feet tall at the very most.
And I'll
Okay.
prestidigitation a sparkle of light down the tracks to really just.
I am going to throw up my hands and go, those damn goblins.
Oh, no. What am I missing out of my pack, Jake?
Out of your pack?
Just like what got stolen from your boy? You know what I mean?
What did Athelios lose?
Listen. They're sneaky motherfuckers.
I'll tell you, I spent a lot of money on that gong.
And it didn't even save us.
Does your staff have any significant metal components?
Yeah, I'll say it's I don't know the exact design of it, but it definitely has like metal inlay.
Gotcha. In that case, your staff is missing.
Does that mean I can't cast spells?
No. However, it does mean you'll need to rely on material components for various things, which I'm assuming since you're a wizard, you have like backups just in case, your staff gets broken or otherwise.
Yeah, I mean obviously I have those.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Component pouch.
Okay. I'm going to suggest we follow the tracks.
Oh,
I'm exhausted.
one other thing that I forgot. The cook pot that you left on the stove full of water, that is also gone.
Now it's game over.
And that was a shinier metal.
So all of our metal items have disappeared. None of us have any of us been hurt.
Nope.
Okay. So they've just stolen our metal items that were laying out. They didn't even necessarily rummage through our backpacks or anything. They just yoinked all the metal stuff that was laying out.
Anything shiny.
You let them steal a gong?
How did you miss that? It's pretty.
Listen, it didn't make any noise. It was obviously broken.
Well, no, it's just a big plate of metal. Yeah.
No, but it should have made some noise and woken me up. So obviously it was broken.
What sounds more likely? Your eyes are broken or the
You were
gong is
supposed to be
broken?
awake, buddy.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean woken up?
Okay, look, I was half asleep. Okay.
It can't yell for help. It doesn't work like that. It's a gong. You have to hit it.
They dragged the gong across the ground.
Well, then it sounds like your ears are
need
broken
you-
too.
Okay, I need you to. Okay, listen. Okay, I'm gonna change into Russell and slide across the ground on my back, and we will all hear the noise a human makes, let alone a metal or a turtle makes, let alone a metal plate
Are you mocking me?
dragging across the ground. No, I'm saying as I change back into my original form, that this thing should have made a lot of noise, and it didn't.
Well-
I'm going to recommend that we stop arguing and start going to get our stuff back
All right. Well,
and persuade people if need be.
Oh, I'm down. I just want it to be known the ridiculousness of the situation.
yeah, it's.
Yes, I agree. It's ridiculous. It is
we're,
definitely
we're
ridiculous.
all in agreement here. All right.
I will once again light up the path of tracks. Say, lead on, Ranger Supreme. and I'll bow mockingly as he does.
Yeah, I will twirl my hand axe in my hand and point forward with it as I start walking.
All right. Well,
In the wrong direction to begin with.
I will begin to say hello. We want our stuff back because they obviously know that we're there. So I'm trying to announce intent. Hello, we want our stuff back, please. Kindly. As we walk.
Kindly.
Kindly. In a good way.
I mean,
in a
like
good
they
way.
kindly took our stuff.
Well, they kindly didn't kill us in our sleep, so.
I'm going to. I'm going to yell out, "We want our stuff back now!" Trying to intimidate the beings into giving us our stuff back.
You're literally old man screaming at the clouds right now.
Or I'm going to recommend this. We can follow the tracks.
I mean that we're doing
This
that
guy
already.
this guy gets.
So I thought we were following the tracks, and that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I was just kind of saying hello as we're following the tracks. That's what I meant. I didn't mean I was stationary.
Hello?
Hello, we want our
Hello?
stuff back, please.
Yeah, and as we're going, I do my thing.
Could I get a survival check from the group? Actually, first things first. Could I get a perception check from everybody?
Oh yeah.
14.
Does not having dark vision influence this at all?
Yes. That means you roll with disadvantage.
I still have to roll another one. Okay.
I
Wait,
got a
the-
dirty 20.
Person leading us doesn't have
Oh.
dark vision? Okay.
No, I don't. But I.
He's a torch.
8.
Yeah, but I don't see anything because I get a 4.
I have an 8 on my grand roll.
I have a 20. I have a dirty 20, Jay, please. I beg.
Listen,
Please.
I feel like you set this up against me. I have rolled on disadvantage a 1, 2, or 3 every time. What'd you do? Write this program yourself?
I wish. So, you all begin to follow the tracks, and it doesn't take very long for you to round this corner and see 3 goblins standing right about here, very carefully dragging the gong, lying on top of one of their ratty ass blankets, as they try and muffle the sound. And I need you all to roll initiative.
Oh boy.
5.
Man.
So initiative.
21.
Okay.
Hang tight real quick.
What
got
kind
it.
of dice do you have over there, Doug?
I'm just
18.
using D&D Beyond.
No, I know. I'm seeing it.
18.
I have a 4.
Well, at least I have an 18 this time.
Oh, at least I didn't lose our stuff. That's good.
Like, like I want to be able to strike pretty high, or me and Douglas will be able to do some stuff.
And okay, sorry, one more time from the top. Doug, what did you get?
21.
All right. Kai, what did you get?
18.
All right. And Patrick?
5. Right there with you, Russell.
Oh, you did better than me. Oh, I got a 4.
All right.
Now,
And could y'all tell me about the order that you were in as you were walking out of camp?
I was first.
I
think
put us in what I assumed would be the order, but
Ah, perfect. And before we jump into combat, let's take a quick break.
yeah.
Yeah,
Figure
pizza time.
beer, beer and a cigarette for me, I think would go a long way.
Be grabbing some whiskey.
You're thinking like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I think aim for 5.
Okay, sounds good.
However long it takes to smoke a cigarette.
Cool. All right,
Cool.
BRB.
Solid. See you in a few.
All right.
All right. Well, anyone there?
Hi.
Hello.
Where did that gong go? I just downloaded it.
Yeah, gong is it's pretty large. It's expensive. It's 30 gold. It's most of my money. But it's only about 6 pounds. For a goblin, it's pretty heavy.
And let's see. I'm assuming we're the only two back.
I'm guessing because nobody else says, "Oh,
Hey,
we have
I
another."
threw some chicken tenders in the air fryer.
So,
hell yeah.
what is our timeline? I have nothing else to do. I'm just wondering what other people's time constraints are.
I was planning on wrapping about 5. Although
Okay.
I suspect combat might take a hair longer than that.
Mhm.
So maybe like 5:30 if everyone's clear to play till then.
Yeah, I have a hard cutoff at 6 because I have to work.
Yeah, I have.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna see about scheduling. See if I can start earlier on Saturdays.
Dynamite.
We'll see.
And if there's other days that work for the group too, my weekends are fairly open right now. Well, for the next few weeks, and then I'll be traveling for like 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Doing the Gambler 500, and then immediately driving to Minnesota.
Wait, the gambler like the trip, the bend competition?
Mhm. I've been doing that for this will be my 5th or 6th year.
You have a pick of your ride?
Oh yeah, I got a 1993 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Hey, that's actually pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, and got it for $500 no less.
I'm back.
Yeah, I swapped out tires, radiator,
As am I.
water pump, power steering, alternator, starter, battery.
Damn, you'll even have power steering for that competition?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I blew it out last year going down a hill. Which,
Nope.
considering that it was the new power steering that I blew out, was particularly impressive. But yeah, I can regale you with stories about that all day. But is that everybody back?
It is.
Sweet.
Miata
is
is
everybody-
always the answer, by the way. For the
What's-
gambler,
Oh yeah, so good.
Miata, always the answer.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why it's the acronym.
The yeah, I've actually had a beer with crap, what's his name? I want to say it's Tate. I don't know. Anyway, whoever has the original Miata Gambler that kicked off the whole thing, my buddy Wes brewed a bunch of gambler themed cider, and we ran into him. So he gave him a 6-pack, so we all just sat around a parking lot, had a had a beer ski with him.
Yeah, I have a 92 Miata. It's not gamblered out in any way, but my friends always wanted me to take it on the gambler, but I would have gotten a penalty because I paid $1,200 for it. So
Oh no penalty there. The biggest thing is cheap car, but especially with inflation.
mhm.
Because I mean, it started 15 years ago, so
Yeah, it's $500. A little
Mhm.
different,
yeah, I got you a lot more car back then.
especially with shortages and yeah.
Mhm. Well, hey, let's get combat kicked off. Is everybody cool playing till 5:30?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. So big ask for combat is as much as you can think ahead about what you'd like to do. Just makes it a lot easier to keep things moving along. And especially looking at you spellcasters.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Which one of these motherfuckers is dragging my glaive?
You don't see anyone dragging your glaive.
Oh shit.
Sorry, hang tight just a sec. Someone's knocking at my door.
Who could it
While the
be?
DM's out of the room, that means that either they made multiple trips and they've deposited our stuff somewhere, or there's more than 3 lingering around.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's in one of their packs.
I don't know any goblin that can stick a glaive up anywhere, whether it's
Well-
a pack or anywhere else.
We may be getting a free back of holding here. you know?
Wait.
Just kidding. No, just kidding.
Have they seen us yet?
You should check out D&D memes. There's a lot of goblins sticking a lot of things a lot of places right now.
Mm-hmm.
Have they seen us yet?
Well, I've been calling
Great
out.
question.
Been calling out a little bit. Just gonna point that out there.
I know, but we haven't said anything around the time. Like he said we rounded a bend and we saw them.
Yeah, and roll initiative, and that's as far as we've got.
This is after we've called out.
I'm just gonna leave a picture of like a glaive of some sort, just so you have an idea, Kai.
Like a if you took a broadsword and made the handle spear.
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking like a glaive is like, so in my mind a glaive is like a almost a throwing star looking thing.
Oh, I know what you're
No.
talking about. No. But I know what you're talking about.
Well, hey, I believe Doug was first in initiative.
Hell yeah.
So Doug, what do you do?
I want
Oh.
a cat.
Quick note: there's a ruler tool in
Okay.
there. So just be aware for casting spells, movement, etc.
Have they seen us yet? I need to know. This is like a big thing.
Yes. You spotted each other about the same time.
60 feet. Okay, cool. I'm not going to move from where I am, and I'm gonna cast Ice Knife. Let me just double check. Yep, it's within 60 feet, so we're good. And I'll cast it at this guy right here because he's the one I think I can see the most.
Solid.
I roll a 14 to hit.
That hits.
All right, so he will initially take 2 damage. And then him and the other 2 goblins need to make a dexterity saving throw, or they'll take 2d6 additional cold damage.
All right.
Nice.
3.
Damn.
Okay. The first couple numbers you saw there were just me adding extra dice. What's the DC?
The DC will be dex save of 14.
All right. None of them made it.
Okay, so I will roll 2 more d6 here. Oh my god, the lowest. Still all
That's
2
the way
damage.
it goes, man.
So is that 2 damage?
2 damage each, yeah.
The other 2? All right. Well, you're consistent, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, you know?
Nowhere to go but up.
True.
Yeah, you so for the rest of the party, you start coming around this corner. And as you see the golden glint of a gong, you also see 3 goblins dragging it along. Almost immediately, Lothar starts casting. And a big ol' ice knife, about a foot long, goes flying from his hands as he chants his spell, and not only hits one of the goblins, but explodes immediately afterwards, showering the other 2 with shrapnel. All 3 goblins shriek and start pulling faster as they're bleeding profusely and are all pretty seriously wounded. Goblins are not particularly tough creatures. Kai, you're up next.
Okay. My walking speed. I can only take it says 20 feet. So that means I can move 20 feet in a turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to
But
move
you can
towards
take
them.
if you need to. You can sacrifice an attack for a double move action. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's essentially taking a dash action. So instead of attacking, you can move 40 feet.
Okay. What is their movement speed, or do we know?
You don't know.
Okay.
You can throw your hand axe, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far I can throw it. I can throw it well.
So you
Depends
can
on your
throw
dex,
it
my friend.
negative. It's depends on the weapon.
I'm just joking, but yeah.
Oh,
Range
word.
is 20 feet.
Yep.
The
So,
range is 20 feet.
yeah,
Hmm.
20 feet is your usual range, and long range is 60 feet. So if you want to throw it up to 60 feet, you have to roll disadvantage. If you roll 20 feet or less, you just roll normally.
Okay, let me see what the distance is.
Man, disadvantage is kind of nasty.
Mm-hmm.
It's an average of 4.5 less.
And advantage is what? Just adding additional points, or what is advantage?
Advantage is you roll 2d20, keep the highest.
Okay.
Disadvantage is you roll 2d20, keep the lowest.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
At least it's even.
I am going to move 20 feet in to their in their direction, so I'll be putting myself right here.
Perfect.
Which puts me within range of my 20 feet throwing distance for my normal throw. And I'm going to throw the hand axe that I have out at one of the goblins dragging the gong.
Which one in particular?
Well, they've all taken 2 damage. Is there any difference among? Do I see any equipment, any of our equipment on any of them?
No, you do not.
Okay. I'm gonna hit the closest one.
The lower one or the higher one?
We'll do the lower one.
All right. Yeah. Roll an attack roll.
And that's a D20, right?
Yep. And then to figure out what you add, you'll look at your character sheet.
12 plus. Um, you said attack, right? I'm not sure where to look for that.
So most of your actions will be under your actions tab.
Okay. So
Normally there would be a hand axe down here. Figure out how to add that.
so
If
I
it's-
have hit DC is +1, and then I have the throw is I think does 1d6 -1 slashing.
Right, because it'd be a dex mod on a thrown weapon, right?
Hmm. Yeah, hand axes are weird.
I think hand axes might actually use strength mod for thrown as well.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
It's one of the weird ones.
Okay, so I need to roll a d6.
Well, you need to hear if you hit him or not.
Okay, so 13 or wait, hold on, 12 is my d20.
Yeah, so you
Plus,
add your
plus
strength
1.
mod to it.
-1. Well, that
That will not hit.
Okay.
So you rush towards the goblins holding the gong, and you let fly with one of your hand axes towards the closest one you can see, and it manages to dodge out of the way as it sees you coming. And then it is going to be the goblin's turn. Athelios, you see this first as you rounded the corner first and actually got a good angle.
I
You
fucking knew it.
you see not only a goblin who is larger than the rest, but you also see one that is more decorated next to him, and another that looks pretty normal as goblins go, standing off to his side. The biggest goblin is in fact wielding the glaive that was stolen.
Oh my god.
Someone's gonna get killed here.
You hear him let out a big ol' holler as he comes screaming out of where he was kind of not quite hiding, but where he was tucked away behind the tree. And he's going to actually post up about 5 feet away from you. But since the glaive has reach, he's going to be able to hit you even though you can't hit him. No, I will
hit
tell
him.
you.
He's within reach. I have a 5-foot reach,
Right.
No,
he's
you're
10
right.
feet away.
so he's 6 feet away, right?
So 5
If
feet
he's
is
5 feet, it
is
should
next to you.
connect.
5 feet is next to you.
There is a 5 feet gap between you and him.
Yeah, essentially each character takes up like a 5-foot bubble around them. So there's one 5-foot bubble between the two of you. But because his weapon has reach, he can hit you, but you can't hit him. Unless you throw it. Regardless, the big goblin rears up with this glaive and tries to hit you with it. That's going to be an 18 to hit.
Oof.
18, so I need to roll a d20.
Not quite. What's
No.
your AC?
AC is 18.
Beautiful.
Does that mean? Do I take any damage from that?
Sure. Yeah, you're about to.
Well, he's not proficient and he has a -1 in strength, so he's he's actually gonna miss. So as he swings this all too familiar glaive at you, you see that he's pretty awkward when he's wielding it. He doesn't quite understand the intricacies of using a weapon that's almost twice as tall as he is. And so you manage to just barely duck underneath. It kind of skids off your armor, but doesn't leave you with any lasting harm. That said, the goblin in the fancy clothes is going to come back here, and he is going to. Yeah. All right. You see him pull out a very familiar staff.
This son of a bitch.
Damn it.
And Lothar, would you make a Arcana check for me?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. It's a nat 20.
Yeah.
What's up with your dice today?
Yeah,
You knew the twos I just rolled?
The hang on, big ol' airplane going by. Hope you can't hear it. You know what this spell is that's being cast. You've read a lot in the library. You've spent a lot of time studying magic, and this is a sleep spell. So I'm gonna need you to roll, I believe, a Wisdom saving throw.
I'm just going to let you know that I'm not going to because magic can't put me to sleep.
Ooh, there you go.
Oi.
What about
Now-
the rest of us?
I'm a half elf, baby.
Is that advantage or cannot be put to sleep?
You have
And not.
advantage against being charmed, and magic cannot put you to sleep.
Dang. All right. So you
I
see,
see
this...
the threads of fate, Drake.
Not today, bitch.
Hey, what about for the rest? Is it a targeted spell?
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume it's one person being targeted here.
It'd be a little
Mass
unfair if it just like slept us all and just pounced on us.
Creatures within 20-foot point you choose within range are affected in ascending order of their current hit points. So who has the next lowest hit points?
Out of the paladin and bard.
I have 10 hit points.
Ooh. It's you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have 11.
I have 12.
Okay. So what am I doing?
All right.
What do you need from
He's
me?
not one of our fighters.
Let's see here. So I need to roll 5d8 dice first. And these these initial ones aren't going to count.
So is it that
Okay,
it's 5d8 dice and then you kind of tally up, so basically it tallies up the hit points, right? Until you...
Yeah, so essentially I can put 18 hit points of creature to sleep.
Okay.
So he tried to do my hit points first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be
And
9.
Well, since it doesn't affect you, they don't count towards the sleep spell.
Oh, bummer.
Next one goes to Zoo, I believe it was.
Okay.
So you said you have 10?
Yeah.
All right. So you magically fall asleep.
I don't get a save or anything?
Ignoring unconscious creatures, starting with the creature with the lowest current hit points. Each creature affected by the spell falls unconscious until the spell ends. Sleeper takes damage, or someone uses an action to shake or slap the sleeper awake. Subtract each creature's hit points. Yada yada.
Yeah, there's no save.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just tired anyway.
Yeah, so you fall asleep, and that takes 10 points out of the 18. And thus you have more than him, so that last 8 points is not going to do anything.
So who cast this? Like they can see us from where they're at.
Yeah, it's yep. Thank you.
Okay.
This guy, and he is dressed in a lot more regalia than the rest of these goblins.
Maybe I'm zoomed in too far.
So now it's the other goblin's turn, and this guy way back here is going to move 30 feet up, but he is. Oh, he's got a short bow. Nice.
Not for us.
So he pulls out a short bow, and he's going to aim at Athelios.
Okay.
Being that you're the closest.
You got this.
And 11 plus 4, 15. Or yeah, 15 to hit. Does that beat your AC?
No, it does not. AC is 18.
All right. As you look up from dodging this this glaive being swung at your head, seeing magic hurling across the battlefield in the dark of night in these cold, cold woods, an arrow suddenly is sticking out of your chest. Thankfully, your armor saved you. You took no damage. It doesn't even really damage your armor. However, you do feel the thud as you realize that even though this is a little creature and not necessarily one you would fear, it is definitely trying to kill you.
Okay.
Now there are 3 more gobos. So I'm gonna say, Thas, you're gonna get 2 arrows shot at you, and Lothar, you're gonna get 1 shot at you.
Does it shoot the giant turtle laying on the ground?
No dice. So 23 and 19. Do both of those hit?
Oh yeah. We sure do.
All right, you take 6 damage across both of those attacks. So 6 total. And let's see. Lothar does a 15 hit.
Oh, it sure do.
All right, you're going to take 3 damage.
Ooh.
So
Couldn't
as
afford a shield.
so as you two manage to shake off the ability or the effects of this magical sleep that has put your compatriot to sleep right behind you, a hail of arrows comes shooting out of the darkness from in front of Athelios. And both of you get hit with several arrows. Yeah, you hiss in pain as the realization that there is now I mean, it's not a big arrow, but any arrow sticking out of you is
No, but there's
problem.
2 of them.
Mhm. That said, the goblins have done all they can. And so now it is Patrick's turn.
With my 5 hit points remaining.
Wake up the bard.
Yeah, gosh.
That or
Will it
take
take
out.
an action to wake him up to slap him awake?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
so I can't do that and lay on hands. Okay, I will go and wake up the bard.
All right. You want to move yourself there?
Yeah,
Let me just double check. Lay on hands is an action.
it says as an action, so
Yeah,
yes.
it's an action, yeah.
Sweet. So Zoo, from your perspective, one minute you were running towards a bunch of goblins, and the next minute you are waking up on the ground, getting slapped by Thas, your companion.
Oh,
Um,
I am very aware of what happened, and I'm going to retaliate with the same thing. So I'm going to wake
Yeah.
up, and
You're gonna wake up and slap me?
no. Yeah, I'm going to blame.
I know what you
I'm
meant.
going to blame Thas. So I think standing up takes half my movement, right? Which
Yep.
icon? Okay, how do I move? Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. I'm just getting a little bit further up. I can't see the grid here, but I'm going to center it basically where the gong is, and I think that puts everyone inside the 20 feet. Correct me if I'm incorrect. Okay, so I'm going to cast Sleep as a level 1 spell.
Funny enough, that also includes Atheist.
Put me to sleep.
I will.
Yep.
But he also has more HP than anybody else in that cluster.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you're
I would.
fine.
I would
Oh.
position it. Yeah, kind of more on the north side, just so it barely catches that. I'm going to say
Yeah.
boss goblin. Like I wouldn't try to intentionally put him to sleep, but I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah,
cast.
absolutely.
I think I'm going to use Inside D&D Beyond, so I don't have to do math.
Oh yeah, and that's gonna be 5d8.
2, 3, 4, 5. Roll. 16 hit points of damage. Yeah, whatever.
Hit points, yeah.
Hell yeah. So, God, 16. That is such a good spell.
Hey, it's my turn. No save. Go to sleep.
Turnabout is fair play. Let's see here. How do I best mark this?
Do you have a sleeping symbol?
You'd really think so.
Let's put like a slash through them or something. Or I don't know.
Drawing tool, that bodes well. Please let me draw. That's not helpful either. All right, well, I'll just remember which ones it is. So you actually managed to put 4 goblins to sleep.
Mhm.
It's all of the ones clustered around the gong here.
And can I say anything like stop as I do it? So I think sleep is just a verbal somatic. And I'm just like, stop it now.
Which ones were asleep?
The little
Was it all
ones.
these guys?
Yeah, these 4 clustered around the gong, the regular gobos.
As scary as I can be allowed to say it.
Yeah, make a performance check for me.
Performance. Okay, I can do
Can
that.
you see that? Did I do that right?
Can I opt to intimidate?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Plus 6 intimidation. 13.
The goblin leader and the goblin shaman look at you and just make louder sounds.
Okay, I speak goblin too, by the way. That probably helps contextually.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They seem taken aback that you're shouting at them in goblin, and they go, "Who do you think you are? You were asleep and we stole all your shinies, so you should work for us now."
Fucking goblins.
Am I allowed to respond, or is that taking too much of my turn?
I'm gonna say that's the end of the turn.
That's
there.
fine.
Which leaves us with Doug, I do believe, because Patrick woke up Russell. Russell did the sleep. Yep. Now it's Doug's turn.
I will be using another spell slot to cast Ice Knife let me just make sure. Yep, okay. And then that's 5, that's 5, that's 5. I'm going to cast on this guy, which will make all 4 of these dudes at the very least in range. I don't know about this guy, but definitely those 4.
Is it within 5 feet or 10 feet for Ice Knife?
It's everything within 5 feet.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'll get all these gobos, but not the big 2.
Okay.
Why not this guy?
Yeah, if you
Get
could put the
all
big
these
one, I
4
could
and leave this one asleep.
could transform into the big boy.
Anyway, it's your action. Do it.
I'm going to roll a 22 to hit, which I'm assuming it does.
Oh, hell yeah.
So the initial goblin will take 5 damage.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled firebolt, but it's still a d10, so 5 damage. And then they all failed their save because they're asleep, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No dexterity saving throws for them.
So oh my fucking god. Everyone else will take 2 damage again.
That's very funny. All right. So sorry, just adjusting my notes here.
Goblins are small creatures, right?
Do I auto crit if they're asleep?
On melee attacks, but not on ranged attacks.
Oh.
You do get advantage though because they're prone, right? Or is that on melee as well?
Well,
Melee attacks, but not ranged attacks.
Really?
Because it's harder to hit someone who's lying prone from a distance, but it's also easier to just stab them while they're laying on the ground.
Yeah.
At least I think that's the the reasoning there. All right. So you chant again. Last time, you think you mispronounced a word just a little bit, just by the tiniest fraction of an amount that made it not quite as potent. This time, you're pretty sure you still didn't quite nail the incantation. Frankly, it's weird not having the counterweight of your staff in your hand as you're making all of these gestures with your hands. However, as you cast this spell again, the ice knife flies true and hits the first sleeping goblin in the head. And while it doesn't kill the other ones, and frankly, they seem to be waking up significantly faster than you'd expect. The first goblin is very dead, and all the rest of the goblins are not only covered in viscera, but also look extremely shaky on their feet. That said, I am going to...
But you're saying
targeted that one. Yeah.
There we go.
so you're saying that goblin is Gong?
Gong.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you, magical cleanup fairy, whoever that was.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay.
Yeah, Kai, I believe that's your turn.
Okay, so for my action, I am going to turn into the goblin that died.
All right.
And I am going to let's see here. I'm going to try to intimidate the goblin closest to me, the big boss.
All right. Roll a intimidation check for me.
Okay, and that's a D20 plus my intimidation, right?
Yep, spot on.
11 plus intimidation is 2 is 13. Ah.
So you very quickly reform into a goblin. This is something that you've been doing for years and years, ever since you can remember. And this goblin seems really surprised that what was once a humanoid standing in front of him is now his dead friend. But he goes, "Gronk, what are you doing? You need to be back there in formation with the rest of the goblins."
And and I just grunt.
He walks up to you with that glaive. Actually, he doesn't walk up. He's going to stay right where he is. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
Uh, can I pull out a weapon, another weapon, or does that have to be like a? Because I
You
have
got
another hand axe.
Yeah, you got one of your hand axes on you.
Okay, so I'm going to pull out that other hand axe, like it was the one that was thrown,
Mm-hmm. Solid.
and I think
Uh,
that's everything I can do, right?
Yep, can't attack because you used your action, but you've got your hand axe in hand. You're ready to rumble, looking like a goblin.
Okay.
Next up is gonna be the leader. So he is going to walk up to you, and well, not walk up to you. I keep saying that and realizing he doesn't need to because he has a glaive. Ignore these first ones. And 9 does not hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, he swings his glaive at you, but is super off balance. He is just very not used to this weapon, and it's frankly way too large for him to wield effectively. So yeah, he takes a swing at you, but doesn't even come close.
Okay. Do they all think that I am now the dead goblin?
They do, but they're very confused as to why there's 2 of you now. Like they recognize that you look like their friend, but they aren't completely convinced that you are their friend. So they can still see their friend's dead corpse.
Okay. Cool. That works for me.
Sweet.
As long as there's confusion amongst the ranks.
Next up is the regular goblin. Oh, hey, get that out of there. These regular goblin guys. They take one look at their dead friend and they stand up and start climbing. So all 3 of them are going to make dexterity checks. Ignore these first 3. Holy moly, that's 2 nat 20s. So 2 of them are going to scale way up. One of them is only halfway up, but 2 of them are about 30 feet in the air. It's been a long time since you've seen a goblin move that fast. But they also are very motivated, seeing as you've hit them with multiple magic spells and have mostly beaten them to death. Yeah. The last goblin grabs the staff and walks forward to stand next to his leader. And he's gonna target Zoo with a firebolt. So would you make a dexterity saving throw for me, please?
Oh, big turtle. All right. It's okay. I'm proficient in that saving throw. 11.
It does not make it.
Okay.
So you're gonna take
Firebolt is not a saving throw, by the way.
Firebolt, isn't?
No, it's a spell hit attack.
Oh. He casts a spell that's very similar to Firebolt, but not quite Firebolt.
All right. I
Tried to dodge.
It hit me.
Yeah, it does hit you for 7 points of damage.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Yeah, this goblin looks exhausted, like bags under the eyes that you don't think he had a few minutes ago. It seems like he is leaning dangerously hard on his magical reserves. But he's also hitting significantly above the spellcasting you would expect of a goblin, even a standout goblin.
All right.
Next up is going to be Patrick.
Well, seeing as I have only 30 feet of speed, I'm gonna come up right beside Thelios and lay on hands on myself for 4 points of health.
Hell yeah.
Gotta, save that fifth one for stabilization. Just just in case.
Just in case. All right, Russell.
All right.
You need to get to the back.
All right. Well, I move up. Let's see here. To here. And I'm going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on the caster.
Yeah. And that's a wisdom saving throw, is that right?
That is a wisdom save.
18?
Oh, yeah. Well, you save. All right.
God, I wish you were closer.
Laughter.
It's just it's not funny. So then I'm going to, as a bonus action, give Bardic Inspiration to our paladin. And I will move. Let's see, how far did I move? I have way too many things open right now. Sorry.
You moved about 15, 20 feet.
Okay, so I'm gonna move back 10 feet.
Oh no. Okay.
Solid.
And that's it.
Doug, what you got?
Can I see these goblins on top of the formation?
Just barely. You can see one of them pretty easily. The other one you can kind of see an ear poking out.
I'm gonna scooch over here and I'm gonna lob a firebolt at one that I can see.
Solid. Yeah, you lob a firebolt at the one nearest the edge.
Okay. And that is a 2 hit, apparently, unless you're a goblin. Oh my god.
That one's on me.
I roll a nat one.
That's not gonna do it.
Yeah.
The firebolt goes wide, and the goblin thumbs his nose at you from high above.
It's a tricky angle.
Let's see. That's gonna be Kai. Your turn.
Okay, so for my first action, I'm going to move my character. I'm gonna move over this way, so I'm right here. It's I think 5 feet to get between these two. And I'm gonna slam my axe into the head of the big one. Actually, no. I'm gonna slam my axe into the head of the sorcerer.
Yeah. Yeah. Roll an attack for me.
Okay, and that's a D20, correct?
Mhm.
Plus, what do I add to that?
I believe it's gonna be +1 because they give -1 strength and +2 proficiency.
Plus. Okay, yeah, it says plus hit DC is +1.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, so 17.
Solid. Yeah, that hits.
Okay, and then I roll a D6 to figure out damage, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then for the D6, 0. I hit him for 0.
What?
He has -1 strength. He rolls a 1.
It's just a flesh wound.
Not even a flesh wound. It just bounces off his head.
You just bonked him.
Yep.
He kind of shakes his head and looks up at you, surprised to be alive, but also not complaining, certainly.
Okay, and then I'm going to say, why didn't you kill them?
He goes, wait, I've been trying. Wait, why did you hit me?
Because you didn't kill them.
Wait, go hit them. You go kill them.
Well, there's 3 of them over there. I need protection.
Okay, I'll protect you then. And the leader is gonna go. I'm gonna table the shaman's action until it's his turn. Unless there's anything else you've got that you'd like to do on your turn.
Can I use the rest of my walking speed?
Yes, but if you get farther than 5 feet away from either of these two, you will trigger an attack of opportunity.
Okay. I am going to move myself right over here. Okay.
Wait.
That's it.
Yeah, the leader is going to swing it fast with the glaive.
Great.
You can take it.
Yeah, it's my glaive.
That's gonna be an 11 to hit.
No.
All right. You have been wielding this weapon for years now. You have made your fair share of mistakes that you have taken a lot of time, effort, and energy to train out of yourself. Almost every beginner mistake one could make with this weapon, you're watching this goblin make in real time as he tries to kill you with it. Which brings about a bit of delicious irony, despite the severity of the moment. And with that, the third goblin, it's going to be the regular goblin's turn. The third one hops up here, and the three of them disappear from view. And that leaves the shaman. And the shaman goes and points his staff at.
Nice.
Well, I mean, he's used it more than you in this campaign so far. So
you.
he points your staff at you and tries to hit you with a real firebolt this time.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. A firebolt's it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
That's going to be a 14 to hit.
Oh, it sure does.
And that's going to be 1 damage.
You see, that staff is cursed. It's all cursed.
And then real quick, I'd like all of you to make a perception check, please.
Dirty 20.
16.
21.
19.
Nice. So in this little ravine on this cliffside that we're on, there are cliffs kind of over yonder that reach up, 50, 60 feet or so. Well, not quite that high. But definitely significantly higher than the ground around you. And enough that we would get an angle on this column. You hear several arrows get fired at the goblins, or presumably where the goblins would be on top of here if they were like hunkered down and hiding. And you hear 2 arrows get fired from up above on these cliffs that seem to skitter off the cliffside over here as if they'd missed. But you think someone is shooting at the goblins.
Ooh.
Interesting.
And that's going to be Patrick's turn.
All right, then I'm going to take a step forward and engage him with my longsword, the main guy.
Hell yeah.
For real?
So
11.
with the Bardic Inspiration, you can choose to use it before the result is announced. So like before the DM tells you if that hits or not, you can choose to roll the 1d6
Oh,
to increase the hit.
Yeah, unless do I have an advantage here?
You don't have
flanking.
I'll give you guys the option Um, if
I'm not
y'all-
sure how that works in
They
5e
would
because in 3.5 it was.
The dangerous thing is it would reveal me as an enemy.
They
Well-
already know you're an enemy.
I don't think they really know though. Like they haven't attacked. He could have swung at me with a glaive,
So
and he could have cast firebolt. At
No,
me.
it's all right. I just don't know those applicable rules for the
yeah,
advantage
so
and flanking.
it's an optional rule. Rules is written. What I will say is it's up to the table. If y'all want to do more tactical play with flanking as an option, we can definitely do that. However, I will warn you that your enemies will be able to flank you.
Oh yeah.
I
So
personally don't like flanking. It just complicates combat a little bit, in my opinion.
It doesn't matter to me. I just didn't know how it would be applied in here. So
yeah, essentially, if there's an ally of yours within 5 feet of a single enemy, like essentially, if there's 2 of you within 5 feet of an enemy, then you get advantage on attacks. So long as it's like just the 3 of you. If there's more creatures in that tussle, that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to use the D6 in that case.
Sweet.
Wait, why did it do 2d6? That's not. You know what? I'm just gonna roll over here.
Sounds good.
I don't. 4. So that would be 15
That hits.
for 9 damage.
Yeah. You have not had a great time this fight.
I'm
You've
pretty
sparred a
upset
lot.
right now.
You've had your weapons stolen. You've been stabbed, lit on fire, attempted to be put to sleep. It's been a really rough 5 minutes since you woke up. And channeling all of that fury, all of that frustration, you have one not even powerful swing, but just a very clean swing. You put your sword exactly when it needs to be, where it needs to be. And you beheaded this goblin with a single chop.
I dub thee Vorpal Longsword.
Yeah, that leaves let's see here.
And after cleaving him, would I be able to take a bonus action to snatch my glaive, or will that take an action another time?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is mine.
Let's make it interesting though and say make a dexterity saving throw to snatch it from him as he falls.
10.
10. Hey, yeah, it's not the cleanest pull you've ever had, not the cleanest disarm, but well, when someone's been disheaded, it's a lot easier to disarm them. So you you have your glaive in your offhand. Let's see here. Anything else you want to do?
Nope.
Perfect.
I don't think I.
Oh, sorry. Russell, that's all you.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop my potion of healing. Because I do not know the intent of the people at the top of the cliff. Just because they're attacking does not mean they won't attack us. All right, so I'm gonna heal myself for 5. And then I'm going to bonus action again, Bardically Inspire the Paladin. Upon seeing him grabbing his glaive, I'm like, there we go.
Kid.
I don't, as to not break the disguise of Athelios, I don't bless him. Or don't give him Bardic. So yeah, I give the Bardic Inspiration over to, another one over to Ezekiel.
Solid. I believe that's Doug.
It's gonna be a firebolt.
Hey. All right, roll them up.
23 to hit.
Oh yeah.
Here comes a 1. Or a 10. Max damage.
Oh hell yeah. Your last couple spells have not gone exactly as you saw in your head. They worked okay, but not quite like you wanted. This one was perfect. Not only did you avoid your two friends and their treasured gong immediately behind your target, you blow out most of the chest cavity of this goblin shaman. You have had it up to here with him using your staff to try and hit you with spells, and not a single minute more. So yeah, the goblin shaman falls with your staff in hand.
Can I use my movement and then bonus action to catch my staff?
Make a dexterity saving throw. It's going to be a higher DC just because you have to cover 30 feet while he's falling.
Listen, it didn't go well.
You make it over there with a quickness, but you don't manage to catch your staff in time. So I'm going to say it's on the ground next to you, but you don't have it in hand.
That's
You can, yeah, you can snag it next turn pretty easily.
yeah.
Kai.
I half expected the way things have been going for Doug to miss with the firebolt and hit the gong instead and melt the gong. You know, I'm just saying.
Listen, my spells have been hitting. The damage has been very low.
That's fair.
Do we know that this goblin in front of us is not a goblin?
Oh my goodness.
Pretty sure with dark vision you saw that shifting.
I mean, I would think you saw me shift into the goblin.
We saw you shift into it. That's what I'm saying is you look like a goblin.
Wearing Athelia's clothes.
I don't know. Is that how it works? Because you said you transform into the goblin on the ground.
Yeah, so I adopt all of their clothing, and I retain my armor though.
You get their language too.
No, I do not get their language. I don't get any character traits,
Oh, okay.
which is why I grunted and didn't say anything. And apparently the wizard didn't notice that I was speaking in human.
Let's see. Just because we have 7 minutes left, I'm gonna quickly roll some dice because I think
So, for the sake of, is there any kind of like call that we know of rangers from our city, or like marker that we could identify people at the top of the cliff? Potentially, you know, woohoo, and they're like, aha, and something like that.
yeah, you guys have been working with the Rangers for a few years now, so you have several of their nature calls memorized as part of that training.
You yell green, and if they're friendly, they yell arrow.
Yeah, so Kai, you see a whole bunch of arrows flying back and forth overhead. And while you hear the goblins cry out in pain, you also hear a bit of a shout from the other side of the cliff. And then all of a sudden, all of the arrows stop flying.
Okay. I'm gonna yell green.
Make a perception check for me.
Okay. Roll. Oh, fuck. Nat one. Yeah.
You don't catch anything back. And you know deep down, if it was a ranger, if it was someone who had been through this program, if it was anyone who was at all familiar with this area, that's one of the first things they teach you. Someone would have to be dead or dying to not respond.
Oh
I
no.
how high up this side of the cliff? You said it was less than 50 feet, right?
Yeah, I earlier I said the column was 30 feet, but I think I'm gonna redact that and say it's 60 feet, just so the column can be taller than the cliffs.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to scale the cliff side.
Wait. Was that my whole turn?
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're dropping out of combat. You don't see any movement from the goblins or the other archer up above.
Okay.
So I'll say
Uh,
initiative is ended.
Okay. Then I'm gonna pick up staff and hand it back to Douglas.
I already
But-
grabbed it.
Oh, you already grabbed it? I thought
Yeah.
it was still on the ground.
Well, if we're out of combat, I grab my staff.
Well, I picked up my axe, my other axe on the ground, and transformed it back into myself.
And could I get a perception check from all of the non-Kai people, just because I already had you roll one?
No, it's you can
13.
8.
8.
We're just winning this.
And sorry, was it Patrick who rolled a 13?
Yeah.
Solid. So yeah, Thas sees the shining corner of your stolen cook pot sitting in a bush, just over this way, kind of behind the tree and behind the column. Seems that they didn't make it very far from camp when they were trying to ransack you guys.
All right. I'm gonna call out that I see that, and then say, I'm concerned for whoever was at the top of that cliff, and I'm gonna go up and get a rope down as quick as I can.
While he's doing that, I'm going to look on the ground if any of the arrows missed from up above on the high cliff to see if there's any arrows I could pick up and try to see if there's any kind of construction identification, like the style that they made the arrow or what the material the arrow is made out of. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to look for the arrows, I'm gonna need a separate perception check. For climbing the cliff, I'm gonna need either an athletics or an acrobatics check.
So I have a 19
Athletics of 8.
I have a 19 on the perception for the arrow finding.
Nice. Yeah, you find several arrow shards scattered around where they fell down off the cliff. Looking at the fletchings, these are almost identical to the arrows that you get from town. Maybe it wasn't the same Fletcher who made them, but it was probably someone who taught them or who they taught. Let's see.
It's local.
I have a follow-up question, but after you work with the...
For climbing up the cliff, you make it about 25 feet up, and as you're climbing, you slip, and you are holding on by just your fingertips.
Can I mage hand him to stability?
He still has a bardic inspiration too.
Oh yeah. Well, here he has the results though.
Oh yeah, I didn't remember that I had the bardic.
My bad.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was
Otherwise, I
the
would have used that. Oh well.
I mean, it's the first session, so if you want to, we can have a mulligan on that one if you want to use your bardic inspiration.
I think so. Wait. Oh, I rolled a 4, so 12.
Yeah. So as you're climbing this cliff, this is not a climbing route. This is just a natural rock face. That said, you've been out and about in these woods a long time, but it is dark and you are tired and you have gotten wounded recently. So though you are a fairly accomplished climber, your hands slick with blood do slip several times as you try and ascend this cliff. And even though there are some close calls, you do manage to make it to the very top. However, you do take 1 point of damage, just as you have to put your hands into some less than ideal holds that come very close to breaking bones as you scale the cliff. Just trying to keep yourself from falling off.
Okay. Down to 8.
So I
Um,
have a follow-up question to the fletching thing. So this is out of character kind of thing. How much of the history do we actually know? So I'm aware that we were taught fletching by the wood elves that are to our south, like as a player. Are we aware of that, like our characters, that our knowledge stemmed from the wood elves, or is that partnership still present within the village? Or
I would say it's fairly well known. A part of it is it's a lot like being taught knitting
Mhm.
from the person down the street, where maybe you learned it from your mom learned it from the person down the street, and you broadly know that, but whether or not you can tell your mom's knitting from the person down the street's knitting.
So
Hard to
basically,
say.
all my character is going to say is like, wood elf design. That's
Mhm.
so in character. That's what I'm just saying. Like the depth of like if that's like the common knowledge. But so in character, my character's like, and I just kind of point out, just kind of moving over here. I'm like, see, he says it's told by the fletching here. This is a wood elf design arrow. Just watching the other guy climb up the mountain.
Yeah, and most critically, it's a type of arrow that's distinct from like dwarven settlements, from most human settlements, or more metropolis, or not metropolis, more metropolitan settlements like y'all's. This is almost assuredly an arrow from either the elf settlement or from Gotham.
Okay, pass that on to the people on the ground.
Let's see here. Patrick. Don't worry about the athletics check. You essentially get to pick either athletics or acrobatics for that one. So you're good on that front. Though for the future, you'll just want to roll one of them. That said, could I get a perception check from you?
Oh yeah. No, I was just embarrassed because I have a +6 to my athletics and it's just rolled an 8 total. 15 on the perception.
Yeah, absolutely. You see several arrows sticking out of trees and a trail of blood leading off into the forest. When you turn around to look towards the top of the column, you see 3 dead goblins, all pierced with arrows, in fairly tight clusters of arrows, no less.
Okay, I'm gonna call out that the goblins on the column are dead and quickly tie a rope around. Is there a tree nearby?
Mhm.
And toss that down to the side of the cliff to then go after the trail of blood.
Yeah. Um, are you gonna wait for your compatriots to get up
No.
the rope? All right. So in that case, we are going to end today's session with Fass running as fast as he can into the woods after a bleeding stranger, and your campsite surrounded by dead goblins. You have pretty much everything you brought with you, but the night is yet young. And that's where we're going to end today.
Cool.
Yeah.
So are we planning on the same time slot every week? Just out of curiosity.
I'm flexible on Saturdays, so if we wanted to do...
I can start a little bit earlier. I can start at 1. If that works.
Yeah.
I'm entirely flexible on Saturday, so...
Would we want to get crazy and even say
And-
noon?
I will let you know the night before. We have some stuff in the mornings, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, I should not be working next Saturday, so I'm open.
Solid. So let's tentatively plan, say 1 to 4. Is a 3-hour session good for everybody?
4 hours is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3's great.
Yeah, I mean like the duration, it's kind of, unless anyone has like hard limits on it, it's mostly up to you, Jake, right? Because it's how much you need to prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for longer sessions. It's just like we might need another break, right? But
Yeah. The honestly, I think 3 hours is about what I can mentally crunch through without a significant break in between for like a
Yeah.
meal or something. Just because trying to tell that much story, come up with all the details, keep it all wrangled, can be a lot. But, yeah. But that was a lot of fun, you guys. Yeah, I'm really excited. This is a good time.
And we're doing milestone for XP, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So no level up this time, but between us three and the tree, I do think it'll be very early next session. So do plan out a level 2 upgrade.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I already know what I'm taking.
Hell yeah.
Fortunately, level 3 is the big
Um,
one for bards.
Oh, won't miss that. Hopefully, won't get 2 zeros in a row. You know.
Yeah, the as a side note, I think javelins would be a much better ranged option for you because you can use dex instead of strength.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
throwing
but-
knives, or
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was. I mean, that wasn't part of like the starting kit that I could take.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can.
Which is why I took the rapier and then I disappeared. So
Yeah,
I
we.
hope that rapier's in the bush with the pot. Otherwise, I'm kind of screwed.
Oh yes, yes it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Hey, thanks for playing today, y'all.
thanks for DMing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I the
I'll,
only one who didn't take any damage this round?
Don't rough it in.
All right, you're on the list.
All right.
Fighter that hides behind the enemies.
Listen, I took I took an arrow at close range to the chest. It just bounced off of me. It's not my fault I have armor.
We'll remember that. Just wait. All right, I'm gonna hop
right.
off for a bit and grab some food, but I'll be on for games in a little while.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully my patching goes quick, so I'll join.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Later,
See ya.
y'all.